Seeker. Welcome to the Awakening Her podcast. I am so grateful that you've been led here, and I'm excited for you that you're answering the call to manifest more magic in your life by mastering the law of attraction. So cool. My name is Talia, and I'm committed to cutting the fluff and showing you exactly how to manifest more excitement, ease, success, abundance, confidence, love, and anything else you've been craving. So if you're ready to crack the code on manifestation, amplify your intuition, and play in the quantum, we are now besties. Let's do this. Hello, Seeker. Welcome back to the Awakening Her podcast. How are you today? My name is Talia Joy. You look amazing. I see your sparkle. How's it going? Whether you feel amazing today or not, you are in the right place. We're going to have a really beautiful conversation about staying on the path, staying in the work, what to do when we have strayed. We feel like we've kind of gone away from our practices or our, self-growth work or whatever. This is what we are talking about today, all of this stuff, how to stay on the path. And I'm excited for this conversation. But before we dive in, hello, how's it going? I'm sitting here in my office and it's actually the evening. I generally always create episodes in the earlier half of the day. I love to get up and be inspired and do it. But on the day that this is going to air, I am going on a big day hike and I don't want to have to get up super, super early because I'm already getting up super, super early and stress about getting an episode out. So I am doing myself the favor of recording ahead of time and uploading it on Monday morning so that you can enjoy it and I can also be out hiking. So if you're listening to this Monday morning, if you're one of those eager people that listen right away, I'm out on a hike. Hey, what's up? Anyways, in my office right now because it's evening. It's quite chill and I guess you'd call them Christmas lights, but I call them white twinkly lights. I have them all woven in and out of my plants and I have really gentle lamplight and my water and I just feel really chill, super chill. So I'm excited for this episode because I feel really comfy and I feel like you're in my sacred space because in my office, it's also where I meditate and channel and all the things. It's got all the crystals and all the plants and all the vibes. So I'm just in a really cool, chill space in my yoga pants and hoodie, kind of in my element, recording this for you today. So I wanted to talk about the importance of staying on the path. And part of staying on the path, I'm just going to kind of first define what I mean because part of it is you defining what it means for you. So let's talk about that. So when I kind of say that, I loosely mean I know that you're a seeker and you are wanting to continue to move forward in your life, right? And sometimes we feel really on it, like we're drinking all the water and we're, working out or we're whatever it means for us. Maybe we're working with a coach. We're really deep diving into healing or really moving forward. We're feeling like we have that forward momentum and we're in that pocket. And then other times we are not. Sometimes we're triggered or we're just really busy, right? Everything's gone out the window because it's a particularly busy, crazy time. And sometimes those types of things, right? They can last a while and then all of a sudden we're out of the routine of going for the walk or taking the bath or journaling or, maybe because we were working with somebody and so we're really in that growth forward mindset and then we're not working with them and we just kind of feel like we're stagnant or whatever it is for you. So for me, the path, being on the path is when we're clicked into what I would say is our personal best. And by that, I don't mean you're being your personal best. It's you're yearning for, you're aiming, you're making incremental upgrades, as I like to say. You're in the pocket of self-growth and, moving forward over time. And that can be, if you're here listening to this podcast, it can be spiritually. That's not everybody's, tea bag. What? I don't know. It's not everybody's cup of tea. There we go. But, moving forward spiritually, developing your spiritual connection, your intuition, feeling more connected to your soul, to your spirit team, to the universe, receiving, 111s or signs, symbols, that kind of thing. We can feel, being on the path is like we're deeply intertwined and connected with the universe. We're always deeply intertwined and connected, but it's like we're aware of it. We're actively co-creating. Sometimes being on the path can be working through the really tough stuff, maybe the looping patterns or the trauma that is, asking you, nudging you to address. Or maybe moving forward is more of like habits and rituals, and you've cut down on drinking, or you're looking to walk more or eat more, of a certain style. So moving forward can be like really looking after your health and really honoring those inner nudges of like, that you need to X, Y, Z. So being on the path, first and foremost, is not one thing, but I think we can all agree that it's moving forward in the areas of life that are most important to you. When you're on the path, when you're in the pocket, you're moving forward in the areas of life that are the most important to you, the things that have been nudging you or bugging you or been struggles, or they've been goals, they've been ambitions, they've been dreams that you have. And so being on your path really just is sort of aiming toward being your personal best, but we got to look at like the mind, the body, and the energy and the spirit. We want to be looking at all of these areas to really be staying, quote unquote, on the path. So this episode, I really want to keep it short and concise, and something to just remind you if you're feeling like you're not on the path, or you're like, how do I stay in this place? Remembering that first and foremost, like all this work you've done, we don't need to always have it laid out in like an app where it's like, what do I do when I'm triggered? Or where's the formula for when this happens? Yes, we have our tools. Yes, I love creating formulas and creating methods. However, being on the path means looking at your life with a curious growth mindset. So the areas of life that you are struggling in, a being on the path way of doing things is, first of all, it's not one way, but it's not giving into the stories and the problems and how much it sucks and how you're screwed and how there's no way out of it. That isn't being on the path. You're not going to get closer to your spirit team. You're not going to get closer to optimism, self-compassion, healing, health, anything by continuously beating the old story that you just don't like. And I know that you, like, let's be real, you're a seeker. You've been doing personal growth. You know that, right? You know that. And I'm sure that you are on the positive side of things as far as people. But just remembering that sometimes we feel so off the path and we get stuck. Pardon me. We get stuck. And then we are constantly in the narrative of like, this sucks. I'm not moving forward. I'm still in pain, or I'm still broke, or I'm still single. It's so easy to do that, but that is the one thing to just check yourself and be like, regarding the area of life that you feel stuck in or off the path, what is your key dominant narrative? And then starting to just even more, wherever you're at, go like, I am open for creative solutions. So the other part of this being on the path mindset is when we take these things, we're not only not feeding into the negative stories, the stories attached about what it means and, how much it sucks and how stuck, but we are also looking at it with a curiosity mindset. And this is the way that I see things. This is the way spirit shows me. Is a really helpful way to look at it, is like, why might this be showing up? Or why may I be stuck or stagnant? What has changed? And let's just be real. You have an intuition, right? So intuition, where why do I maybe feel stuck? Not what's wrong with me, not what am I doing wrong? Never that. It's more, what changed? And they might share with you, your intuition, your inner being might be like, you've been really busy. You don't have any time for you. You don't have any time for self-care, or you were meditating and then you stopped and you haven't been taking space for yourself, or you really need a mentor, not because they're there to give you answers, but just because they'll help you get unstuck, or you need to reach out to a friend. Maybe you'll hear inside sort of guidance, like you've been isolating or something. And if that angle doesn't work, because we don't want to be hard on ourselves, it's definitely not what's wrong with me. It's more like, why might this be showing up? Also, when we're continuously struggling, like, why might this be showing up? What is here for me? Because at this point in your journey, you realize, and you have been introduced at least to the concept of what you see in your external reality is a reflection of what's going on internally. And sometimes we stay in what's wrong and why we can't do it so much. And the reflection out there will reflect back to us that. Our life will reflect back to us. So we want to look at the things that we're struggling with and going like, what's here for me? What could this be teaching me? It's that curiosity mindset. So maybe you feel off the path and maybe you're just burnt out or depleted, or there is a huge struggle going on. Might this be showing me? And I like to think of emotions as our guiding system in a lot of ways. When we feel good, we are in line with our path. So we're back on track. We're back in our path when we feel good. I know it's simple, but I mean when we feel truly good. So maybe you're out on a walk in nature. Maybe you've, just paid the bill that you've been avoiding. It can be very nuanced. Sometimes what makes us feel good is like, it's not just skipping out on work or not doing your responsibilities. That doesn't actually feel good. But how can you actually feel good? So maybe it's giving yourself yoga or a deep breath. Maybe it is hiring the mentor, or maybe it's not putting the pressure on yourself to hire the person and just knowing that you've got this. So sometimes we need to find it a little bit, but at minimum, if you're feeling off the path or you want to make sure you're staying on the path, engage in things that truly make you feel good. And when you can find the mind, body, soul trifecta, then you know it's gold. So for example, for me, yoga is mind, body, and soul. Nature, mind, body, and soul. Breath work, mind, body, and soul, right? So you just find what you can, but trying to nurture your mind, body, and soul and feeling good, that automatically puts you back into a better feeling place. And that's what this is all about, is really learning how to feel good in our lives and how to create good in our lives. So to stay in the work is, first of all, when things are going awry, not just feeding endlessly into the stories of why it sucks, right? Number one. Number two, looking at it with curiosity and like, what might this be telling me? Intuition. What are you trying to tell me about this? Or inner being, spirit team, God, universe, whatever you want to talk to. Why might this be showing up? What is this trying to show me? And here's the kicker, you guys. I don't share this often. I do with my one-on-ones. But when it comes up, whatever it is coming up, how might this be showing me something that is trying to get my attention that has been blocking me from manifesting what I want? So again, if say you're feeling worn out and depleted, you're like, I'm just off the path. What might that be showing you that has been blocking you from what you've been desiring? So if you're depleted, it's showing you, look, you're stretching yourself too thin, or you're not making any time for you. When was the last time you walked in nature? You're not eating, enough food, or you're hungry. Take care of your needs, whatever it is. It's telling you something. And that message has been blocking you, like depleting yourself to where you have nothing left for you, not taking time for you to have stillness or nutrition or body movement. That has been blocking you. So we're endlessly looking at like, what can I do more of? Like, where's the next course I can take? And actually staying on the path means continuously nurturing ourselves, not allowing ourselves to get depleted, but also listening to those inner voices and the nudges that come through our everyday life. So when we're off the path, quote unquote, By the way, my spirit guides are like half going like, ugh, because you can't actually be off the path. And maybe I'll wrap around to that at the end. But I know what humans are talking about when we feel clicked in or we don't feel clicked in. So when we don't feel clicked in, we want to come back to curiosity. Self-growth mindset is really looking at everything as, how is this helping me? How is this serving me? What is here for me? So maybe you've been dating someone that just doesn't treat you well, and you've been focusing on like, how do I get them to treat me well? Or how do I get them to settle down? Or, how do I make this work? And I always feel needy and I just don't, am I being too much? Maybe the whole situation is showing you to raise your self-worth, raise your standards, and know that the person that's meant for you is going to want to be around you and want to commit to you if that's what you want. For example, this situation could be showing you, let them go. There's someone better coming, right? This is what I see for myself and for my clients all the time, is like there's these spiritual assignments, as I've been talking about, within our struggles all the time, like every 100%. But it's not our job also to dissect every little thing. Like, why am I stuck in a traffic jam? This is what people do sometimes with law of attraction. Like, oh my God, I law of attraction, this traffic jam. But actually, if you're in a traffic jam, you could be looking at it going, how could this be actually serving me? Maybe it's giving you time to get through that podcast that was really important and you wouldn't have gotten through it if you didn't have the traffic jam. Maybe it's teaching you to practice patience. Maybe it's teaching you to, instead of like not telling wherever you're going, to make a quick phone call and be like, I'm going to be late. This is what it is. Take the pressure off yourself. I'm so sorry. I'll be there 15 minutes late. It is what it is, right? Is there a way that this is secretly serving you? And if you're just stressed about like the traffic jam, and in your head you get into the stories of like, you're going to be late and you're late again, and why can you never be on time? What could that be showing you? Hey, you're tripping out. Come back. Don't be so hard on yourself. It's okay. Take a deep breath. Enjoy the podcast. It is what it is. Maybe it's helping you to see that, because that frantic fear energy has been holding you back, or has been getting in your way, has been ruling your life. So you're being squeezed in that traffic jam energetically, and what is within you comes out. And they're showing you like, hey, this uptight, controlling energy, stress energy is not serving you. You're making this mean that you can never be reliable, and that's not the case. Or maybe you're seeing that you wish to leave earlier so that you're not late all the time. That's actually serving you. Good. Now tomorrow, let's leave a little bit earlier to leave room for this or something. Either way, there's something in it that serves you. That is being on the path. That is the growth mindset. Even now, when my body hurts, I'm like, what is that telling me? Because I'm on this body healing journey, and I desire and know and am aligning with a life where I'm not in pain all the time. When I am in pain, it's very triggering. It's very easy to be like, oh, this is not working, or oh, this again. But now I go, what is this teaching me? And sometimes right now it's asking me to sit down. How is that actually benefiting me? It's teaching me to listen to my body, to surrender, to tell my husband or whoever, like, no, I'm not going to do that right now. I'm sitting down. Maybe it's giving me time to meditate. Maybe it's anything. There's gifts in everything. That is the thing to remember. And sometimes we get addicted to being the victim. Sometimes we get addicted to being stressed and being busy, and we cause ourselves chaos. I know that journey. When I was healing from my eating disorder, I came face to face with the question of, who would I be if I'm not the suffering one? And that hit me in the gut. And I've worked with that ever since. I've worked with that medicine of like, yeah, where do I thrive? Being in suffering, being in busyness, being in chaos. Why sometimes when I do have a moment to sit down, I don't, and I choose to like take on another project. Why can't I just sit down? I've noticed this thing lately. It feels maybe a little bit off topic, but I'm guided, where if I sit down, and especially if I go on my phone, even if it's to like reply to a client or check my bank account, or if it's Instagram, and then someone starts coming up the stairs or they're going to come in the room, I feel the need to like close my phone and put it down and be like, I wasn't on my phone. Almost like I don't deserve to just sit down and be on my phone. It's like these little areas where that feeling of like shame is like, what's up with that? And I noticed that just the other day. I was like, oh, it's like you don't feel worthy to just sit down and do quote unquote nothing and take that time, whether you're scrolling or emailing, it doesn't matter. You're worthy of whatever you need. Anyway, I digress, but I don't, because it's awesome conversation. Being on the path is looking at life like, how is this serving me? And sometimes these persistent struggles need more attention. Sometimes it's a good idea to follow your intuition and either work with a therapist or a coach, or have a few hypnosis sessions, or a Reiki session, or a past life regression. If something's really calling you, then doing that is also you moving forward, right? And another area to look at, staying on the path, moving forward, that I like to ask for clients, and I will ask you right now, in your highest self, which is not perfect, but what she is she or he or them, they give back to themselves, mind, body, soul. They are compassionate with themselves. And yes, they're also abundant and powerful and patient and even energy and all that good stuff. They achieve that state of even energy and power and confidence by having certain rituals and habits and things that are important to them. So in that highest self, how do they become that energy, that energetic magnetism? So how does your highest self maintain their frequency? I want you to look at their body. What do they do for their body? Is it movement? Is it water? Is it mostly plant-based? Is it mostly protein? Is it supplements? Is it meditation, nervous system work, breath work? What types of things does your highest self do to maintain the body health, whether it's tuning the vibration or it's like fitness, nutrition, whatever? How does your highest self do that? And then let's look at the mind. How does your highest self stay mentally in the game? Discover their confidence, stay in that pocket. Is it daily meditation? Is it working with a mentor? Is it affirmations? They record themselves and play them back. Is it reading books, listening to audiobooks, listening to podcasts every day to keep them in the pocket? What do they do? Right? So you want to start to think of this mind, body, soul / energy / spirit. How does that version of you stay connected to their spirit, to their intuition, to their purpose, aligned to the ground, to the earth, to nature, to God, to universe, to higher self, to ascended masters, angels, whatever floats your boat? Pick one or many. How does that version stay on the path? And these are the things to ask yourself. What in love and compassion, not in what you're not doing? That's not going to ever help. It's not about what you're not doing. It's not about how you've dropped the ball, I know I should do yoga, but I just don't. It's not about that frequency. That's not the vibe. It's about, how can I fill my cup to incrementally raise my vibe, stay on the path? What has been coming up lately? Take the body, as I just went through, the mind, and then the spirit, and just pick like one or two things from each category that you can do a tiny bit more of. Is it a tiny bit more water? A tiny bit less alcohol? A tiny bit more nature? A tiny bit more working out? A tiny bit more meditation? Maybe it's a lot more, but also know it's not about Marie Kondoing every area of your life constantly and overhauling. That always makes us feel like we have more work to be done. But being on the path is also being with the humanness. Sometimes there's no more work to be done. But how can I nurture myself to the fullest capacity because I love myself? Is it a stretch when I've been working for hours, just getting up incrementally and stretching throughout the hour? Is it making sure to drink apple cider vinegar in the morning, or journal out your feelings, or talk to a friend, or do Pilates? Like, what really sparks your soul? Has your inner being been calling for more meditation, or for a retreat, or to work with a mentor, or to read a book, or to write more, or to channel, or to do cards for yourself? Like, listen to what your inner being is guiding you toward, because they are guiding you toward that quote unquote higher self. And the higher self is nothing better or up higher on a pedestal than you are right now. It is you, but it is more expanded, more focused on those things, those meeting your own needs, creating your safety and security inside, and fucking taking over the world, living your life, exploding into your dreams through nurturing the mind, body, soul. So being on the right path, being on your path is having that growth mindset, asking how this stuff is serving you, and really nurturing yourself, mind, body, spirit, because the path isn't about how many courses you take. The path isn't about how many tens of thousands of dollars you invest in yourself. The path is about becoming your best self, removing the obstacles, choosing the path of healing that resonates with you. In a season, you're called to inner child. In a season, you're called to shadow. In a season, you're called to none of it and just spending more time in silence or nature. Sometimes you're called to feel your feelings. Sometimes you're called to analyze your feelings. Sometimes you're called to surrender and letting it go. It does not matter. It's listening to what is inside, what is going on, staying on the path, incrementally moving forward in the areas of life that are important to you by nurturing yourself, by becoming more expanded in your being. And then, yes, there's times when it's like, F it, I'm booking the retreat, or I'm becoming certified in this thing, or I'm giving this gift to myself, I'm hiring the mentor. Yes, we do that. We make big leaps, but only when it feels so right inside, because that's the first marker of being on the path. Are you aligned with your truth? And then taking leaps from there. It's not about fancy shit hanging on your wall, like, completions of courses and degrees and stuff. That's badass. A degree is badass. But all I'm saying is that doesn't necessarily mean you're on the path. But when you're on the path, you're doing things your way. You're aligned with your truth. You have that growth mindset. You ask what your inner being is calling you into. You nurture the F out of yourself. You create safety and security. You come back to your spirit. You come back to what is real, your energy, your pleasure, your well-being, mentally, physically, spiritually, all the things. You come back home to you. That's being on the path. So for all of you, but what do I do's out there, I love you guys so much. I work really well with people like that because they somewhat stretch me to be like, yes, make this a physical practice, but also it is truly what we all need sometimes. At the end of the day, we need it to do. So any of the big things coming up in your life, you can get back on path by asking yourself, what is this asking me to do? Is this asking me to heal? Is it asking me to release? Is it asking me to raise my self-worth? What am I being called to do? And really asking, how could this be working for me? How could this be giving me a nudge to work for me? And then coming back in and making sure you are taking care of yourself. From there, everything kind of not just takes care of itself, but what I mean is when you come back to taking care of yourself and you are drinking the water or taking a walk or journaling, and not all of them on every single day to be perfect, it's you're nurturing yourself, you're coming back home, you're creating time of you're regulating your nervous system. From that place, spirit will talk to you. Your inner being will, and you'll be called to like, you know what? I'm ready to start the business, or I realize this relationship isn't working, or it's time to get a puppy, or I can truly start to surrender or forgive. It's only from that place. So truly doing the work is moving out of the wounds and the ego and the narrative and the victim, and moving into who am I truly, and where is my power and my confidence. And that is already all within you. It's the blueprint of who you are. So how can I come back to my authentic truth? What is my authentic truth sharing here? What do I need more of in my life? What do I need less of in my life? And then making moves, making inspired actions, taking inspired actions in those directions. So maybe it's just one walk tonight, even if it's just for 10 minutes, or a journaling, or maybe it is hiring the mentor, taking the course, but really just thinking, what can I do to move more deeply into what lights me up, my authentic truth, my enthusiasm, and start basic. Start with, I need more nature. I need more girl time. I need more alone time. Just start with that. Go where you are called, and you are on the path. The last thing I want to say as I wrap this up is that spirit isn't making this super, super complicated for us. It's not a mystery. It's not like necessarily a code to crack. Your inner being has been guiding you and is guiding you. Nobody else truly has the answers for you. Spirit has been moving through you to guide you to what's next. It's just that sometimes what's next isn't a physical step or a really obvious, like, get this degree or do this thing. Sometimes what is next is learn to take care of yourself. Come back home to your practices, develop your intuition, discover what it means to be soul aligned. Like, your soul is calling you bigger now. It's not just one next step. It's about expanding more fully into who you truly are and your soul's blueprint for you, meaning, pleasure, enjoyment, happiness, joy, like being in that. So that's what I have for you today. I hope that, I was going to say I went off script, but let's be real, I didn't have a script. I just knew this medicine was coming forward to help people going like, am I on the right path? How do I stay on the right path? How do I stay doing the work? Doing the work is seeing what's coming up from a new lens, using it as an opportunity to heal, to move forward, to show you something, and then taking the steps through that, to do that, to heal through it, or to allow it to call you, to soften you, to have you see where your inner being is calling you. And once again, it is already within you. A human doesn't, this is coming directly from Spirit, a human doesn't need any one thing that another human can give them, meaning a course, a process, a tool, a strategy, a breakthrough. You actually have it all built into you. And we can beautifully co-create with other humans. Mentors, teachers, gurus, people are important. We need people to reflect back things, but I just want to say, like, it's not about anything that anyone else has. It's that discovery inside of how do I become more aligned with my inner being? And from that place, we see those things that are wildly out of alignment with who we truly are and our truth and where we're headed and what we want to be, what we want to embody in this life. We start to see what is misaligned. Sometimes it's people, dynamics, thoughts, patterns, habits. And that's when we again see, what could this be showing me? How can I move through this? What is here for me? And bravely step through over and over and over and over. That is being on the path. I hope that resonates with you. I love you so much. I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I truly hope that it served you and helped to move the needle forward in your life. So before you go, I want to ask if you are looking for some new practices, if you need a little meditation for some stress, or you're looking to get unblocked. If this is you, I want to invite you into the freebie library. Yes, it's free. It contains an Awakening Her daily practice, a meditation for stress, a guide to help get unblocked, as well as a scripting manifestation exercise to use the power of the quantum to literally script out your future. So if you're looking to get a little bit more mojo in your manifestations, I welcome you into the freebie library. It's going to help to move you forward and give you some extra tools in your tool belt. So check the links below and dive in now.